Hey guys, Josie, where are you? Good looking son of a gun. What are you doing there? Oh, yes, you girly. Well, guys, I know it's been a couple weeks since I've made a video, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been kind of nice. I know that a lot of you guys like watching my videos. That sometimes it's really nice to just to work, go home, do your billing, and then try to relax before you get up and do it all over again. And last week was really hot, and I guess a lot of guys don't know, I on YouTube you can post things, and I don't know if people didn't get the notifications. Who knows with YouTube? I don't trust anything that YouTube does. But anyway, I put out a notification 2 weeks ago that I tore my meniscus in my right knee, and I know I'll hear about it, but I stayed on the couch for 4 days, and I had a doctor look at it and all that good shit, and sure as hell, it's had an MRI, and it's got a partial tear in it, and he said, just, you can work it out. He said, but we need to reattach or try to repair the partial tear. And I told him, I says, well, he told me the length of time that I'd be down, and this is where there's a huge he understands, because he's a doctor, and the doctor is self-employed, and but I had a guy out at a ranch the other day telling me, he goes, why don't you just get on unemployment and get your knee fixed? I said, do you realize how all this shit works? And he goes, realize how what works? I said, I am self-employed. There is no unemployment. I don't work, I don't eat. Do you get that, Captain Clueless? Anyway, so I sat on the couch for 4 days, icing it, and got to where I could walk pretty good. And I've still got a little bit of a hobble, but I'm just really being careful with it. And I've been up since then, just working my ass off, because I'm really far behind now. But I've been just doing tons and tons of hay and equipment service calls. We had a little thunderstorm this morning, which kind of gave me a little bit of a reprieve. But, I feel sorry for these hay guys. And they got first cut and rained on, now they got second cut and rained on. But anyway, this morning I had to go over there and put some bearings in one of those headers on a W235 John Deere. I got an R450 swather that I need to go look at that's got automatic climate control. And yesterday, just to get them going, they started cutting some grain hay, and he said the blowers quit working, so I drove over there, and actually I got it into auto mode, and I pushed auto, and the fan speed came up, and I said, just turn it on auto for now and keep cutting. I says, I got other bigger irons in the fire. I've got a New Holland swather. It's having hydraulic problems. It's a 90, what do they call that? A 9880 or something, I don't know. Anyways, it's a newer version of the HW340s, and I got to go look at that and tee into the hydraulic lines. The header drive, it's got a new header with new motors on it, but the header is starting to get weak, the hydraulics to the motor. So it's got a Sauer Danfoss like Series 90 pump on it, and it's got an EDC controller, which is an electronic displacement control valve controller. So, but I went out and looked at it the other day, and there was no pressure ports, and I got it in the book there, and they wanting you basically to tee into the lines going into the motors and check what the relief pressures are set at on the actual pump. So that's another thing that I've got to do. I had a 98 Chevy full drive pickup sitting here. I just got it out of here this morning. I had a 4L60E automatic transmission. I rebuilt the transmission. I put a new torque converter. I put a shift kit in the valve body. I did a bunch of stuff to it. Everything in it's new pretty much. And the only thing I didn't change is I had a bunch of new coils and stuff in there. I put new coils and all that stuff. But the only thing I didn't change is the wiring harness inside the valve body. It looked pretty good. So I went and test drove it at about 5 this morning after I got it back to done, and told them to come get it, and they just come and got it and took off. And I got the new clutch. I've been videoing on this a little bit here and there, but haven't had time to really focus on anything. It's just always But I got to get this done. This is baling tractor, and I know it's coming real quick, like within the next day or so. I got to get this out of here. But I brazed up his fuel tank sitting over there. It had a leak in it. I got to run a new heater hose. Back up this corner here because it keeps leaking, and he's got a new shutoff valve for the water for the heater hose there. And then, of course, just your normal. The other thing I did yesterday on it is I pulled these things. Basically, it's a 2-speed. It's a electric over hydraulic 2-speed. What they call on these old Fords, they call them dual power, and the older Fords had it's behind this little plate here, but this one's electric. It's got a coil there that shifts the spool. Basically, when you operate the coil, it basically is porting oil for pilot pressure to move the spool back and forth. So anyway, I took that off because it said the dual power wasn't working, and I told him, I said, I don't have time with it split in half, especially after if I probably would have had time if my knee wouldn't have got dicked up to pull that clutch pack out of there, but he said it just wasn't doing anything at all. So either the spool's not shifting or it's electrical is what I'm pretty certain. So anyways, in the 6R tractor, all that stuff's back together, not back together. It's all the parts are over there. Haven't had a chance to work on it. Like I say, I've been doing millions of service calls, it seems like. So anyway, I could go on and on about all this shit I've been doing the last week. Here's a 6170R that is throwing a bunch of communication codes, and then it quits moving, and we need to dive into this one real quick and see if hopefully maybe it's just something as simple as a you can definitely tell this used to be a rental tractor. So let's turn the old key on, and we'll get into the controllers here and see what kind of codes we got. What do we got going on here? A bunch of noise. Don't want to hear that shit. So let's go over here. Let's go to the information center. Let's go over here to diagnostics. I had to fart. It's nice when you get old and you just don't give a shit about nothing anymore and what people think. A new device has been detected. Okay. Where's it at? Show me the controllers, you piece of shit. It's probably seeing this. Seeing I can't even get it to bring up the controller. Show me the list of controllers. There we go. Pile of shit. Now let's look at these codes. We got some CCU codes. So you gotta go in here like this, and let's see what that one says. Communication fault. System with restricted function. Restart engine to complete vehicle recovery. Okay, so we got chassis control system, communication fault. I got a feeling we got a bad CAN terminator somewheres. Both those happened 47 times. What's this one here? It only happened 2 times. Mechanical front wheel drive system control unit fault. System with restricted function. So we're having. I'm gonna clear them. And then, let's just look and see here. I probably shouldn't have cleared that actually, but I think it'll come right back. I guarantee you, 47 times. What do you want to bet? That is a CLC communication fault. What do you want to bet? Okay. We'll go back instead of clearing it. It's probably the right move. And I'm sure the ECU isn't communicating with the other controllers in it, so it's shitting its brain out. Communication system, imagine that. What's this one here? Okay, that's a restricted function. Okay. So let's go down here And I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but 126 times, wow. Communication system, EIC. That one's timed out on the counter. They only go to 126, and then the controller stops counting how many times it dicked up. Let's go here. What the hell is that all about? Why won't it give me like a definition of the... That's really strange. Okay, doesn't tell you what it is. I know it's long and drawn out, but you know, I don't know. PDU. It's got a feeling they're all control unit message missing. Restart engine. Okay. Oh shit. Well, you guys kind of know where I'm going here. So I just was kind of looking to see maybe. So the park lock controller, that's happened 126 times. Communication fault, system with restricted function. Restart engine to attempt vehicle recovery. And this is probably going to be the restricted function code here. Well, let's see, park lock system. So all these are going to have basically the same codes. You almost got to pick one. And then you'll get into the theory, you know, you'll get into the diagnosis part of it is what's going to happen. And then you're basically going to start looking at your CAN network, your controller area network. And if you don't know what the CAN network is, that's how all these different modules on these newer electronic machines work. All these modules have to have a data bus to communicate with each other. So those data lines, you're going to have a CAN high and a CAN low. Usually the CAN high is like 2.6, 2.7, the other one's gonna be like 2.5, 2.6. CAN low is just gonna be a little bit lower. So there's what we call CAN terminator resistors, and those resistors are at the end of the CAN terminator line, and that's what gives you your 120 ohms of resistance. That's what gives you your CAN high and your CAN low voltage. So the resistors go bad, and then it throws the voltage off, and then the messages don't get sent to the controllers. Most of the time is what happens. On John Deere likes to use a 12 volt power and a ground, and they wrap those around the yellow and green, which would be the CAN high and CAN low wires, and those are what you call shielding wires, and those are wrapped around with the power and the ground from vehicle battery supply, and that's what they call a shielding wire, and that is supposed to eliminate magnetic interference from other wires. You know, where you got other wires going across that loom there, and they don't want any cross currents. So anyways, I'm gonna get in here and start looking at CAN terminators. There's on these 6R tractors, there's one here. Oh. Let's look at this one back here. There's one that's associated with all the stuff right back in here. Goes right back into this. This is part of, is this the one? It's this one. One of these is a CAN terminator resistor, and I'm trying to remember. It's this one right here. So we're gonna look at all this stuff here. There should be, I don't remember if there's any back in here. I'd have to look. I know there's one under that right corner post. Josie, get out of the road. Hey, come here. I'm gonna teach you to keep out of that damn road. I think there's one underneath the kick panel under the floor too. Good Lord. Oh, bitch. Oh, that piece of shit anyway, huh? I don't remember if there's one up by the, no, I'm thinking of a 30 series. The 30 series, the engine controller. There's a controller back here, but I don't know if there's any carrying Terminators. I gotta get in the book, start troubleshooting this thing, guys. Alright, so we need to check. We need to go between pin A and pin C. And pin A, and it may show the right voltages because the codes aren't active. These can be a little tricky. Sometimes those Terminator resistors will get ambient temperature warm up and they'll screw up and the voltages will change, and then it depends, you know. Sometimes the controller is bad. Sometimes you got a bad controller that's screwing the whole CAN bus up. Now I don't remember which one is A and which one's B. They're marked if you can read them. I need to start bringing my damn glasses with me. This is C, this is D. Oh wait. J, H, J. So how are they doing this? B, C, D. So A, B, C, D. Okay. They're going counterclockwise with their numbers. I gotta get the meter where I can read it somehow. So A is gonna be the ground. So got 2.7 on the CAN high. And we got 12 volts. Oh, wait a second. I'm screwed up here. 2.3 on CAN low and 2.7 on CAN high. We're gonna have to run it a while to make it screw up and get the voltages on it because it's not showing. We gotta get the codes to come active. Well, me and Josie are just gonna stay right here around the shop. I'm gonna try to drive this thing around and try to make it act up. They got it in full drive. They need to turn that shit off or put it in auto or something. It's hard on them steer tires driving around in full drive. Well, girlie, let's see if we can drive it around and make it. It might be something that won't act up. And we got to look at this. We got a leak here too. We need to look at. Just take her nice and easy. Nice and easy, huh, girly? It's pretty smooth. Oh, yeah. You see something you don't like? You gonna get them, are you? Are you gonna get them, you big killer girl? Huh, baby? That is my #1 sidekick right there, man. That is I love all my dogs, but she's mine, you know. Duke's Bailey's dog and what have you, but she's definitely mine. She gravitates towards me. Yeah, we'll just go around and around the shop here for a while, I guess, and maybe we won't have to walk as far when it quits moving. That's what it does. It quits moving, and they said they'd restart it and they'd drive it about 1 row and it'd quit again. It's been one of those things where I'll drive it around and round and round and it'll never act up on me. acts up, I guess, if it does act up, I'll show you when we're testing the can high, can low circuit on the data link connector. So what I'm looking to do, as soon as it screws up, just start testing that circuit. I'm just gonna check something real quick. Anyways, I drove it all over the place, never could replicate the conditions, the fault. I got a feeling that we've got some overcast today, and it's not near as hot as it has been, not near as hot as it was yesterday. And I got a feeling it's going to be a temperature related problem, an ambient temperature related issue. Once it gets hot outside, it probably will do it again, but it's not going to do it right now, I don't think. You'd probably run it all day at this temperature and it'd probably be fine. Something's getting hot somewhere, either a controller's getting hot or a terminating resistor is getting hot and the voltages are getting out of range. So here, this is I think this is A84, this is a passive. On a terminating resistor, you're going to have it active and a passive. This is a passive terminating resistor. And like I said before, this should be a vehicle power, 12 volt power. This is your ground, this is your yellow and green, can high and can low. So a good way to check your screening wire and your ground is just put your negative terminal, your lead from your multimeter, to the black wire and this one to the red wire, and you have 12.38 volts. So there's nothing wrong with that. So now you can go from your ground lead to the can high, or that would be can low, and that's a little bit I don't like that very much, but that one's a little high there. 2.2 and then 2.8. So I'm not really liking that. It's actually probably might. Let's go check with this unplugged. Let's go check the data link connector voltage. And we'll see if it makes any difference when we plug that passive terminating resistor in. See, as it gets warmer, it might actually show itself. I've had that. I've fought these things, guys. I've had to wait till it got warm and then go drive it around to get it to show the fault again, to get the voltages to change enough. Now there's a difference. 2.8 is too high, I know that. Usually you're looking at around 2.6, and then the other one would be like 2.4. So we got 2.3 here. And 2.8 on the can high. So let's go plug that passive terminator resistor back in and see if we notice any difference on the voltages. We know our screening wires on this end are good. I wish this thing would just actively throw the fault and the voltage would get all wacky and I could find it pretty easily, but just the way it is. I'm gonna get my lead back in there, get that back into terminal A. 2.3. So they did change. That's kind of more along the lines of what I usually see right there. I mean, it's closer to 2.7. I mean, that's not excessively bad. I mean, there is a chart in the book that tells you there's supposed to be, so basically you're going to take the bias voltage, which is 2.5, or the carrier voltage, and then you minus whatever's recorded on one of them, and then you take that difference, and there shouldn't be more of a 35% difference. And so originally I had 2.7 reverse drive lever. Oh, what? The son of a bitch was not. The son of a bitch is in park. What are you talking about? Okay. Anyway, I don't know why that was saying that. The damn thing's in park. You know what? Maybe let's fire it up. It's kind of odd, huh? Because it was in park and it was saying the drive lever was not in park. It was in reverse or forward while it was being started. And that was kind of odd. Which, you know, we didn't even try to start it anyway. Maybe just with the key on, but... Come on, Grandma. So it's not throwing any codes. Let's check our can voltages while it's running. About the same. 2.7 and 2.3. I guess probably closer to 2.3. It's on the lower end. It's 2.32. And this is on the higher end right there, 2.7. Which is still, if you took the carrier voltage of 2.5, you're still going to have a 0.2 difference on the can low and a 0.2 difference on the can high. So they're evenly different. It's just not showing itself. Well, just kind of looking to see what the weather forecast is today. It says that it's 86 degrees, 85 degrees right now. What is the... Is that as hot as it's going to get today? It may not get hot enough. I bet it's ambient temperature related. Is what I'm really suspecting. It's almost the hot as it's going to get today. What does it say? It says the high is 87, so I don't think... how about tomorrow? What do we got for tomorrow? Saturday 88, 93. It might be Sunday or Monday when it gets up to 93 before we even figure out what's wrong with this thing, because it's not showing itself. You know, yesterday it was like 94, 95 degrees, and they said it was screwing up all the time. And then they said yesterday afternoon when they drove it in here, it cooled down, and they said it didn't act up one time. So I got a feeling we're kind of sitting here chasing our tail until it gets warm enough to replicate the fall. So anyways, I don't know, it's not much of a video, guys, but as far as a repair, but I guess it's something I can put out there to show you guys that I'm still alive. And I'm just doing the same things that I normally do, chasing down problems and trying to fix them. Well, I guess I'm here on the camera. We can see what the hell's leaking here, huh? Oh, it's leaking on this thing. This hose right here is puking oil everywhere. One of the cooler lines. So there's an O-ring up inside that, where that mel into this tube and goes in there, and that O-ring is bad. So that's an easy fix. I can see somebody's really dicked up the end on that filter as well, just like that other tractor in there. So anyway, which reminds me, I need to get going on these other tractors in here and keep the progress rolling. Alright guys, so I know it ain't much of a video, but anyways, I'll keep you updated here on this, the progress. You know, you never know, I might put another clip in this video, and I might come back in a couple hours. Maybe it'll be a little warmer, and we'll try it again. We'll try to replicate the condition.